I get rid of that, darn.
Okie dokie. Okay, here we go. So, Amalia and Natalia with Karmic Kindness with Madelaine Parker,
Hi, everybody.
bringing you the cosmic forecast with our cosmic chat for the Sagittarius new moon that is occurring. Actually, let me make sure I get the time right. Hang with me for 1 second. It is occurring on June the 3rd at 11:42 p.m. Eastern. So it's a late one. The late one this year. So, or this full moon, which is kind of cool. I kind of like them when they're at night because you can go out in the night sky and see it and be under the moon when it's officially full. I don't know. It feels kind of magical to me when you're able to do that. And when they happen during the day, it's, sometimes you can see the moon, but it's not quite the same.
Full on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like got a slightly different vibe.
Yeah, I think it happens for us around 7:30, 8:30 p.m.
Yes. Yeah. That would, let's see.
And it doesn't get dark. And it doesn't get dark here in northern Idaho until like 9:30. You'll be able to see it, but it's weird. It doesn't get dark till like 10 o'clock, 8:30.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, really late.
Is it because you're high up?
Yep.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
here in Florida, well, it's darker a little bit. I mean, probably a little on the later side. When I lived in Virginia, that we weren't super close to the mountains, but the mountains were around, and so it would definitely get darker later there versus here. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Yeah. And this full moon, I know Madelaine and I were talking briefly before going live that there's a lot of energy coming up. I've had a number of people reach out. I posted something for my Wonder Wednesday this week about energy that's happening now from the new moon that we had most recently in Taurus. And it was such an intensity because even though we're kind of moving through the eclipse season with the Taurus Scorpio nodal axis, I feel like there was some of that residual eclipse, that Taurus energy that might be taking place, at least for me, where I was feeling it on all those karmic points. And it felt like a lot. I had a number of people reach out to me saying like, what the heck is going on? I can look at the astrology just like Madelaine and we could point to different things, but I think it's also where you are as a soul, what you're here to move through. And this happens all the time, but right now we're in this huge shift where there are solar flares happening. There's a lot of energy in the cosmos that is through with some, I don't want to name the fixed stars because I'm afraid I'm going to mess up which ones they are, but I know there's a number of fixed stars that have a number of activations happening that we're all feeling on a collective level. And it's pushing us outside of our comfort zone, or it's pushing us in to take a look at our stuff, to be able to really shift and make some changes going forward. So I feel like this full moon could be a potential culmination. Like if you think about Sagittarius, the glyph is the archer, and the archer never pulls its bow or lets go of its bow until it knows it can hit the target. And so for all of us, we're being pushed into, okay, where do we need to shoot our arrow? What are we focusing on? What's our target? And then we can release our arrow. What are we completing? Full moons are about completion. What are we completing? What cycle is wrapping up? Or, and it could be what do we need to see? What is being highlighted for us right now so that we can complete a cycle, so that we can shift in some way? So I just feel like, without even looking at the astrology, just feel like this is a really pivotal time for so many people.
Yes.
And they're feeling it in such an intense way.
Yep.
And that concludes our cosmic chat.
That's it. That's all we have to. You said it all right there. Well, yeah, because I mean, what you're saying is echoed in some of the other transits that are happening with that Pluto, and then we've got Jupiter on the nodes. And the last Sagittarius lunation, we had Jupiter on the nodes again too. So absolutely correct. We are totally changing and pivoting our course corrections. We've got everything in all planets stationing direct right now for like until the 17th, 18th of June. So thank God Jupiter is in the Taurus energy, although in Vedic it's in Aries, but that's another story. But energies are super going fast, things happening, moving. We've got Mars squaring Jupiter in the nodes, and usually Jupiter squares are positive, but Pluto's in the mix. So we're really a lot is coming out in the public. Secrets are coming out about, you know, politicians and things like that, but also like in our own lives, we're learning a truth that we've been out of direct, because Sagittarius, Jupiter is always about the truth. Pluto's about our soul. So we're really course correcting, redirecting with these T squares with Mars, which is action. So we're shifting and pivoting, and it's usually forced because, you know, it's a T square, but Jupiter and the nodes are in the story. So it's like, we're really needing to be course corrected and sent the right way. And our ego is always the thing that sends us off path. And so usually we're not happy if it goes against our ego. But trust it, because it is the right course. It's a new destiny because it's on the nodes. So, and it's the south nodes involved as well, because it's at the end, it's at the 0 degree, it's at the end degree of Scorpio. So we're really clearing out toxicities that are holding us back. I mean, we're really looking at the shedding of an old skin, an old layer of life.
Big
and
time.
Yeah, and the thinking that made that life is changing. And we've got new thinking. So we've a lot of us we're seeing the world in a completely different way. This is Jupiterian. This is about humanity. It's in the sign of Taurus. So it's about abundance for the people. So it's like we're course correcting for the good of all, which is why the universe comes in and the nodes come in and tilt things by square, by force, or by circumstance, and redirect us, because we're headed a better way than our mind can perceive. And, you know, Jupiter in the sign of Taurus is extremely abundant. We're really settling. You can think 12 years ago around this time, because we're going to go through where Jupiter is in everybody's chart, but as well as this lunation, because this lunation is ruled by Jupiter. So we got to look at that. But you know, look back to, you can look back to where everything was November 23rd, because that was the new moon. This is a 6-month period future. So we're going to kind of be responding to that other report that we did. And we're going to see now the fruits of our labor, the fruits of our, the redirect, because it was on the nodes last time at about 14 degrees, I think the nodes were at, and Jupiter was, Jupiter, the nodes were in Taurus. Jupiter was not on the nodes, but the lunation may have been on the nodes. I'm trying to remember where that was. But anyway.
In November?
Yeah, I had that chart up actually. Let me take a look at it. New moon in Sagittarius chart too. I just bought a new program too, so I'm excited.
Oh, that is exciting. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. So the November new moon, I'm going to see it as a wheel, and I'm going to put it up here at number 1, and we're just going to look at number 1 here for a minute. So the nodes were on the nodes were at 13 degrees, and then the moon, the lunation was, hang on a minute, why do I see that? The south node and the north node, where's the sun? Where's the sun? The sun was at 0 degrees and the moon. That's right, because the sun and the moon were conjoining together in the sign of Scorpio on the south node. That's what it was. So what were we doing? We were releasing a toxic, something that was in our path that was taking us off course towards our destiny, which is now being resolved. And we're now in the position to take that course, or to take that path, as it were. I hope that makes sense. But because that south node was at 13 degrees and that lunation was at 18 degrees in the sign of Scorpio. It might have been like 14, 13 degrees. So we were letting go. That was a Sagittarius energy. So the nodes were in Scorpio, and the moon went onto that before the lunation. That's what it is. It was a 0-degree lunation. That's what it was. So we were becoming aware of a toxic situation that was holding us back from our new destiny, and we were going through some sort of a crisis around it. But it also put us on a fire path to initiate a way out. And these fire energies, and a new moon fire energy, you're really lighting a fire up about something. And now we're looking at 6 months later, it's the full moon. So we're seeing the results. We're seeing a culmination, the momentum now taking its path. And we're looking at fire and air energy, all planets direct. Mercury, it's a mutable sign. This is a mutable lunation. And so for about 2 weeks until Saturn goes retrograde, things are going to be very busy and go. And they've already been that way for a lot of people. Things are really moving forward because Mercury is out of shadow. So this is an interesting, let's look at some of the aspects involved in it too, because so
Pluto is going direct for a short time.
No, Pluto is, sorry. Everything is direct except for Pluto.
I was going to say, because Pluto I thought was retrograde.
Yeah, Pluto is retrograde, but
Okay.
all the close inner planets are direct. Well, all the planets except for Pluto.
Well, and Pluto, for everyone, like Madelaine was saying, it's an outer planet, so we feel it, but we don't feel it as much as we would like Mercury or Venus or Mars, for instance. Yeah. However, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. So the fact that it is going retrograde, we are going to be, revisiting and reviewing aspects of ourselves that we need to let go of, that need to die in order for us to be reborn again.
Yep. And also when Pluto goes into retrograde, we're much more in tune to our soul's desire, our soul truth. So when it's squaring the nodes and squaring Jupiter, it's tilting us to know a true center. And the sun is squaring Saturn right now too. Well, that's right now, which is causing everyone to not be so busy and work and go inward and connect to the soul calling. Jupiter squaring the Pluto, on the nodes, waking you up to your soul's calling. And in retrograde, all the planets have us go inward too, and investigating our inward experience more than how we are on the outward. So it's almost like all the planets are going direct except for that soul in retrograde. So it's connecting with our soul, our truth, taking a moment. And also Jupiter being in Taurus is a slightly slower energy, thank goodness, because otherwise we just like shoot off the planet.
Like, wow.
Like, yeah. But anyway, so we're grounded with the Jupiter and the Taurus energy, but also the squaring the nodes is, again, just quite simply and clearly, we're all shifting directions. A little while ago in the last lunation, there were so many planets at 0 degrees. We're starting new beginnings. We're starting new chapters. We're letting go of toxic things that are holding us back. We're going through a transformation where we are now being more authentic, living our true calling, releasing toxic mentalities, wherever Scorpio is, toxic potential relationships, anything that was holding you back from your expansion, because Jupiter is all about expanding. In the sign of Taurus means we're expanding our stable, financial, abundant future. So we need to be lined up with the soul path, because that's the abundant path. Jupiter takes us on our abundant path. If we follow our Jupiter, we find our abundance. And the soul, Jupiter and the soul working together to expand your abundant calling. So,
yeah, let's do it.
Interesting.
Let's see what's happening.
And again, full moons can bring up, I know I've got some squares coming up on this one, and I'm studying it going, I wonder. But squares and challenges around this full moon, because when we look at this, so we're going to go ahead and share the chart and take my new program that I'm exploring. It's astrological gold, I think it's called. Yeah, astro gold.
Nice.
So
I like all the color.
I know. So now I can go on the grid now and see all the transits, exactly how this full moon is going to be really interesting, because we've got Mercury and Uranus conjoined. See, this is what's fun about this. I can see all the transits. You can literally go through like every planet. So the moon is opposing the sun, squaring Venus, kind of a wide square, trining Mars, but these are kind of wider, but I won't go through all of them. But the big one is this one here, Uranus and Mercury conjoining, which really makes it pretty because Gemini, the sun is in Gemini, was very mercurial, it's very electrical, nervous. I mean, just like energy, a lot of electrical, mental energy, ideas flowing, spontaneity, because it's like outward energy. This is a fire moon Sagittarius. It's inspired energy, fired up, new beginnings, new ideas, especially that Mercury and Uranus conjoining. And then if we look at what Jupiter is doing, there's Jupiter, the ruler of this eclipse. It is sextiling Saturn, awesome, squaring Pluto, we talked about, conjoining the nodes, and opposing the south node, K2, which is releasing toxic, unhealthy things, because we're about to go, the nodes are about to go into Aries. And so we have to let go. Then we're going to have the south node in Aries. So it's like literally a brand new, fresh start. And we need that purity. We need that clear, we're emptying the bag out in the Fool card, that 0 degree point. We're emptying out the backpack of things that are no longer, that are just weighing us back. So we're having a transformation occurring, all of us in the planet because Jupiter is all of this stuff is going to start. The reason we're going to go forward with our true callings, and we're going to redirect, and we're going to do it, is because we're going to have faith in it. So some sort of opportunity comes up that ignites our, shall we say, faith in this, which then fires our motivation up, reignites, excites. And that's that Uranus is like out of the blue, surprising, exciting information, depending on how it aspects your chart. For me, it's a trine to my Mercury. So that'll be exciting, inspiring new news.
Yay.
Yes. And it is to expand our abundance, because this is at the lower degree Taurus. So when Jupiter is at the end of this transit, when it finishes out its Taurus transit, you will see a very solid path, abundant future. Think last time when Jupiter was in Taurus was in 2012 to 2011, and if that's right. And I know in my own personal life that was definitely a resettling of a financial sort of structured, stable, restabilizing, because things before that got kind of rocky. The economy was nuts before that. So anyway, I think the economy is nice and strong with this Taurus Jupiter. So Sagittarius is going to hit everybody's Sagittarius and Gemini. Sun's going to be in Gemini. It's going to be illuminating ideas. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is on Uranus. It's going to be liberating ideas that liberate us, that are progressive, that are about the future, because it's on the nodes and it's on Uranus. It's like the new ideas based on faith, based on trust and abundance. We're really leaving that again, that's thrival. We're going to thrival mode. It's again, if you don't see all the abundance right now, just relax, because these are Taurus energies. Or just enjoy the process. It's not supposed to be fast, although it could be very fast because of these other energies. Let's put it this way: the energies could move very fast towards creating this new structure. Like if I was to use the metaphor of building a house, you would be building. Everything is lining up now. All the finances are there. The planning department approves. And the guy who's available now to build the foundation is ready to go. It's like, boom. And you're now building your foundation, and you just can't even believe it happened so fast. But the foundation building will take the amount of time that is needed and proper to keep it stable. So that's kind of how to explain mixing these energies up. So the Jupiter energy sextiling Saturn, that's so nice. Saturn is about to go into retrograde. And then it's sextiling Saturn. So that's again, and it's in the sign of Pisces. So that's sort of like a flow energy with Saturn, with like a flow supportive. Saturn isn't going to get in the way and create too many problems towards the structure building, and that's really the main things to look at here in this lunation. There's that Pluto squares. Let me think if there's anything else. We look at Mars is in Leo. So we've got quite a bit of sort of fire energy, Mars being in Leo. Again, that's probably sort of inspired, creative. This is a positive, abundant energy of things going forward and expanding. The squares, again, we do have in this eclipse, there's a wide Mars square. So again, when any time we're tilting off we're tilting to a new path, our egos are being, our ego mine already is completely all week. My ego mind's been going, whoa. And I'm aware of how limited my own thinking has been about certain things. So we're really, this is the kind of a new moon where it's kind of like, a full moon where it's kind of like, wow, I can't believe it really is working out. Like this can happen. Like this is going to work. And it's like, it took a lot of faith to believe in this, because this is it's a high faith energy, but also when it's in 13 degrees, it's below that 15-degree point. It's like 1330, somewhere in there. We're still learning about faith and Gemini, the sun being a Gemini, is about our mind. That Gemini is thinking, it's Mercury, it's mercurial. So we're becoming aware with the moon there of our emotional issues that prevented us from having faith, emotional wounding that impacted created mental limitations that made us think, oh, no, this can't happen. The amount of times I do readings for people that have really great messages that say, no, I don't know. I don't think that can happen. So it's like, so we're waking up to our mind aligning with the faith energy of the moon, which is intuitively, we're going to see, because the moon is in Sagittarius, we're going to see a deep intuitive knowing of the right direction. It's connecting to Pluto, our soul. We're going to have faith in it. We're going to go for it. That Mars in Leo, passionate, fired up, inspired, free, excited, because we're free. It's summer. Let's just look at Venus. What's Venus doing? Venus, it's a wide square to the Jupiter, but Venus is technically in the sign of Cancer during this. I think still, or did Venus go into Leo by this point? Where is Venus? So Venus is at the end degrees of Cancer, going into Leo. Probably not much impact on this lunation, unless you have a planet. It's opposing my Venus. So it's potential that if you have a planet around your Venus, you are reevaluating a relationship, or a relationship from the past could be coming in. Pluto, true soulmates, Jupiter being in a Venus ruled sign. It's in the sign of Taurus, ruled by Venus, which is good for money, but also relationships. A lot of divine partnerships are coming together. I've had so many people this week contacting me that their unions are happening. Because this is about going on missions, and most divine partnerships are here to unite for a mission, for a proper purpose, not just to be in a relationship. There's actually a reason to be in a relationship. I'm searching. What is the reason for being in a relationship? I'm kidding. Anyway, so yeah.
I'm sure you're not the only one that's like questioning things, it's like, and if you're in, since relationships are my jam, it's like, if you're in a relationship, it's like, what are the lessons that you're here to learn in order to express whatever it is that you came here to express together as a couple? Those are big questions.
Yeah. And some of us are here to really learn to align with ourselves and not a relationship, to learn self-alignment. So ultimately we have to stay aligned with the self. And
absolutely.
has priorities. So, but the divine brings our relationships in to support the mission, the project, and, you know, to have fun, all that, you know, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to
Yes.
be having a good time here, believe it or not. People forget that. Mars and Leo, maybe we'll play and have more fun as we work, you know, whistling while we work, having a good time, because Mars Leo is a nice energy. It's again inspired. But I think we're really looking at everyone being fired up and ignited and inspired about our lives again and on some sort of new path. And then the only challenges are going to be if you haven't really wrapped up any past life karma that's kind of or other attachments that are really kind of entangling your energy field, as it were, the new path. So that Pluto square, man, we are wrapping things up. We are ending, and it squares a south node too. So there might, you know, with this lunation involving all of this, there might be a sad let go as well. And attachments, we're releasing attachments. If you have strong attachments, they might be rattled from your grip for your highest good. Everybody's highest good is to let go of attachments. It is the best way, the best path towards feeling happy. So yeah, I think I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what's really exciting that I noticed, because I'm really having fun with this app and I'm playing around with it and entering and taking things out. You can add the part of fortune in, and look at how the part of fortune, the sun is at 13 degrees. The part of fortune is at 17 degrees. So it's really close. And so that is really good abundance, you know. So this lunation, I think, really sparkles abundantly for everybody. I think we're gonna finally see sort of a really good period here for a while, you know, as far as I can look astrologically. I think things look really good. You know, Jupiter on Uranus further down the line in the year is kind of an interesting transit coming up. But in the immediate future, it feels to me like things are stabilizing for the majority of us so that we can create an abundant structure and sort of lining things up and committing energy. Someone texted me about the Hierophant card, and it representing Taurus, and Taurus representing commitment and long-term, where we're looking at long-term, because it involves the nodes. We're looking at long-term foundations, structures for the future that are very abundant, the long haul. So, and I mean,
shall we jump into Aries, or is there something else you wanted to mention?
Just again, last thing only would be, the only stress point would be if you have controlling issues and you're holding on to the way you think everything should be. That's where you're going to struggle. So yeah, let's go to all the houses. So yeah, let's start with Aries. Oops. Aries, you guys have fabulous Jupiter in your second house. Income, you may spend more money, but also increase of income in the next year. But your ninth house, potential travel.
Hey, Madelaine, really quick,
Yeah.
let me pause really quick. Could you do the stop sharing the screen? Because it's like only like partial right there. Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I want to get rid of that darn number. Okay, good. All right. So yes. So we have Sagittarius. So you got the moon in your ninth house. So that could be travel or learning something new, or something that, let's say you're Aries and you started learning astrology and you started your course in November 23rd, and now you're ready to actually sort of step out and maybe do some clients and do some readings or teach it. Or maybe you've been learning a long time and now you've been practicing and now you're ready to start teaching. But basically with that moon, or you definitely start traveling and you take on some really fabulous new adventure. Having the Sagittarius full moon in your ninth house is like suddenly you get to go on an adventure and travel. You've been longing to do this. It's really exciting. But again, it's going to be in alignment to do that, because it's going to be your destiny is going to support this. So it's going to involve for humanity. Again, this is supporting a humanitarian purpose of some sort. It's expansion. Maybe you'll sort of be a diplomat for your company and you bring companies together or something. So yeah, so that looks good for Taurus second house. So again, so you've got this expansion of your finances in your second house involving travel, but also you're going to have the sun in your third house. So you're going to also have a lot of ideas. You may start writing something. You may, you'll be busy, sun in the third house, ideas illuminates ideas that then take you on a travel, that then opens up a new idea for how you make money. Opportunities can come in there with a sun in the third house. So yeah, what cards do you get?
They're kind of sticky. I forgot to do them for a second. So I was like,
did you?
Yeah. So then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing the cards. I'm just tuning in here. Let's see. Aries. Oh, well, that was easy. Popped right out after I said Aries out loud. Okay.
Yep.
So for Aries, let's see if I can tip it so you can see. The banana yucca activates hidden potential. The message is uncover your secret talents. What special gift have you been keeping under wraps that you don't fully acknowledge yet? Banana yucca dissolves insecurities around your capabilities and brings hidden talents to the surface, enhances your ability to make unexpected leaps and bounds toward reaching your goals.
Wow.
So I guess that's pretty aligned with that mercurial sort of vibe you were talking about. That
yeah, because Jupiter in the second house is talent. Like second house is like you possess a talent or something you possess makes you money. So yeah, Jupiter in your second house could reveal your talent, and you have a hidden talent that you now discover really can make you money.
Yeah. So banana yucca, Aries, that's your jam.
Cool.
So, and to remind everyone, these flowers are from the Flower Evolution deck by Katie Hess of Lotus Way. And she is the creatrix behind the Lotus Way elixirs. And let me see if I had one on my desk. I actually moved it into my kitchen. Yeah. Elixirs and mists and serums that you can either take under your tongue, or you can, use it as like an essential oil, put it on your hands. I have one for my whole body. Or you can literally just take a screenshot of the picture and call in the energy of the banana yucca to support you and to help you during this next 2-week period. So
yeah,
all sorts of different ways.
All right.
All right,
You're ready for Taurus?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, Taurus, you guys have Gemini, the sun, in your second house, but you've got Jupiter on your first house. And when Jupiter comes onto your first house, that's usually when you initiate brand new beginnings. You expand who you are. You feel very confident. You believe in yourself. You take initiative. You go forward. You start new things. You start a business. You start your practice. You get married. You move. You buy a house. These are big energies for Taurus. And then, but a Gemini, the sun in your second house, you're going to see that you can afford to take out a loan, or you can afford, because you've got Sagittarius in your 8th house, the new moon there, you're going to open up a fear. Now you could confront a big fear. Sometimes a full moon in your 8th house illuminates a fear you have of money or of debt, and it reveals financial crisis that can happen. But then all these energies are coming in with illumination of an idea that brings you a new way of making money, or an idea to increase your income and expand your income. And with Sagittarius in the 8th house, also you could land with some sort of a windfall that eliminates your debt. An opportunity starts you on a path that you can now start eliminating your debt. Or you do sell a property and you get income from selling a property, and you can now start a business. Gemini is very much the 3rd house energy, starting business, which you now start a business, which now changes the way you start, because that Jupiter in your 1st house, you start a new business, you have the money, you gain money to do that, you get a loan, you qualify. And if that happens, it will work out. Don't worry about it. The business will succeed. And in fact, or your business, you already initiated some idea in November, it was a talk, and now it looks like it can happen. An opportunity occurs that you can do it. The money is there, you can do it now. Sun in your 2nd house, giving you ideas, a lot of energy, a lot of mental energy around income.
I'm digging what you're saying about this, because this was a big topic of conversation that I had recently with my guy. Yeah. Both of us have our moon in Taurus. And so
Right.
there's, and for both of us, we're looking at different, how do I want to put this? Like different pathways and different avenues of revenue streams and income coming in, and maybe doing some pivots, making some changes and lining things up in a slightly different way than before. I'm definitely going to remind him to look back at November
Yep.
to see, but
Was
what,
that nose squaring? The nodes are squaring you right there. Yeah.
well, and then for me personally, that was a big activation in November,
Right.
November and in last spring.
Yeah.
So, the flower that came out for this, I think, speaks so directly to him and to me when it comes to some of these changes might feel scary. They might feel like, oh my gosh, like this is so big. We have the rose for Taurans, and it activates tenderness, and the message is nurture yourself. So Taurus is all about that sensual experience, about the luxuries of life, about that taking care of yourself. It's the earthly pleasures. So where can you take care of yourself? Where can you find that place where you can love and comfort yourself during times that might feel somewhat challenging, particularly when it comes to fear around money? I think that's one of a universal
Talking
fear.
about that.
Yeah, a universal fear for people, regardless of where your moon and your sun or any other planets are. We all think about money.
What happens is you're right. Everybody has fears around money, but having a lunation in, depending on where the lunation hits, is whether that issue is going to pop up or not.
Yes, true. And because this is in the second house as well for
I
Taurus,
pop up.
it may. And so remember, you have the rose to really allow yourself to just take care of yourself and know that it's all going to be okay. Just be gentle with yourself. And it dissolves disappointment. It dissolves feeling ignored or unloved and the belief that life is full of struggle, because it's not. It really isn't. Let me just go into the magnifies. Magnifies attentiveness, sweetness, kindness, caring for yourself and others, and healing your emotional wounds and scars. So for Taurans, I think it's just I keep hearing the word gentle. Just be gentle and allow whatever comes up to be there and learn from it and move through it with as much grace and ease as possible.
Yes, because couple things to think about. One, Jupiter in your first house, you can overdo things. You can overdo it. You can get sick. You can push, push things or on too much stuff. Earth signs can work too hard. And then Jupiter, the energy of Sagittarius, is an energy where you don't want to try. So you want to be careful in this Sagittarius energies, especially when everything is direct. You want to really not be too impulsive and you got to learn how to work your fire energy, which is to not try. You just let the fire push you forward. Let the inspiration do the work. That's kind of the secret of working with the fire energy. And the Sagittarius energy is the horse. It's when you think of a horse, you think of the hips and the legs. There's a lot of power there. Yeah. So it's and then they've got like you were saying, that they can hit a target while moving. These are moving energies. These are hitting the target while we're moving.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. So you don't want to try too hard in a Sagittarius. The fire energy will do all the work. And Taurans, you want to say that too, because I know them. They work hard.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so let's see, Gemini.
Yep, Gemini. So you're having the sun in your first house, which empowers you, gives you confidence, makes you look good, brave, good times. You're out in the world and you're kind of popular, and then you have the moon is going to be in your seventh house of relationships. So these are new inspirations about a relationship from the past, potentially wife from the past, because we've got that Pluto square, but it could be a new relationship, coming in, but it's a full moon. So it's like, maybe your struggle to find a relationship now ends, it accumulates, you find your person, it's the time. It's a full moon on your fired up, inspired, adventurous. Maybe you go on an adventure with your spouse or your partner. You decide to go traveling with your person. Again, you're going to have your ruling planet conjoining Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So, wow, I mean, really taking some very strong, bold, new and spontaneous ideas, to travel or do things or to start a new business. Selling is maybe you suddenly do very well with selling. Something really opens up because Gemini is a salesman as well, and you've got Uranus there. Suddenly a new opportunity in the sign of Taurus that also with that Mercury Uranus, a lot of people could find sudden financial expansion, liberating you. Jupiter is all about expansioning finances. Maybe your finances through a spouse or mate really expand. So, and you Gemini, you have Taurus in your 12th house. So that could be like traveling far away, distant countries, but also like really, really knowing a truth in your soul, because the 7th house is sort of like reckoning of a soul, releasing something of emotional attachment so that you can really create a new foundation. But so Sagittarius in your 7th house, an adventure involving relationships, travel. Let me think, anything else?
Well, I feel like this card speaks to all the things you just
Okay,
said.
let's see.
So we have the night blooming Sirius. This activates fearlessness, and the message is take a leap.
Take a leap.
So, leap. Yeah. And I feel like that's a lot of what you were talking about. It's about that. Are you yearning to make a huge leap in your personal growth? I mean, 1st house, that's personal growth right there, that self. And when it comes
to confidence.
Yes, absolutely.
And look at how that looks like the sun.
It does. Yeah, it really does. There's a lot of brightness and lightness and expansion, and
yeah,
let's go. So night blooming Sirius. And this too, it obviously it blooms at night. It's a flower that is illuminated at night. And so I feel like with the sun being in Gemini and the moon being in Sag, like this is such a beautiful combination of the two.
Yeah.
Really nice. Really nice.
Interesting.
Okay. So Cancer.
All right. Okay, Cancer, you guys have this in your 3rd. Well, you're going to have Sagittarius in your 6th and 12th. So it's interesting because I look back on the 23rd for me of November. It's kind of hard for me to know, but I was doing a lot of workshops then. And so for Cancer, because it's in your 9th house, you have actually wait a minute. What am I doing? Sorry. Why do I keep thinking 9th house? It's travel, Jupiter, 12th. So you're going to have the sun in your 12th house, which is like long distance traveling. It could be the country. It could be retreats. So some spiritual workshops that I kind of do at that time too. So looking like potential working situations, because it's your 6th house, the moon is there and it's a full moon. So efforts you put into a career or you don't forget the Pisces houses are all being activated. So it's very much potential travel with work opening up for Cancer, which is really a big dream for me. So it's like potentially something that also what happened in November 23rd might have been because the nodes were involved, they might have blocked something. So something that was blocked that you weren't ready for now comes back and can work and can do it, because then Saturn goes into retrograde right there in your 9th house of travel. So it's like potentially either teaching or traveling or taking on some sort of a course comes back into the story. But it could very well be a big travel thing, because you've got the sun in your 12th, Saturn in your 6th, in your 9th, which is travel, but also Jupiter is the energy of travel as well. And then having the moon in your 6th house is something coming to fruition, the results. It could even be the results of something you've done where you've been working on your health. That is now over, an issue. You now find the solution to it. Jupiter is expanding in the sign of Taurus, expanding all of our health. It's in our 6th house for Cancer. Actually, that's really about to happen, kind of funnily enough. I think because I've had this goiter in my I've been on a journey to try to figure out, heal it, and it was Hashimoto's, but it might come from fillings, from leaking fillings. I just did a whole thing. So I'm going to the dentist, and maybe that's going to get removed. So I
Wow.
know. So then maybe that's going to go completely go. Maybe that's the cause. So that's a full moon in my 6th house, like illuminating the cause of an issue. Now, the sun being in the 12th house opens up an emotional cause to the issue, or a spiritual cause, or just sort of a higher understanding of it all, So yeah, for Cancers, you're gonna see something. It's going to reveal a soul issue towards the cause, an emotional issue towards your health problems, spiritual issue that you can resolve through day-to-day practices, because the 6th house is what we do on a day-to-day that determines our health and our wealth. So something that you've been doing on a day-to-day for your health or your wealth, Cancers, is now going to open up and produce the abundance that you deserve on that, and potential travel, which I really hope to do.
Oh, no, Madelaine loves traveling.
Yeah, I really do. It's in my blood.
Okay, so we have for Cancerians, we have the jade succulent. So this activates presence. The messages go for it. The key piece of this I want to point out, though, is it also relates to vitality. So are you feeling vital, or are you not feeling vital? It helps the expansion of chi energy. So your life force energy expanding, growing, and filling you up a bit more. So this feels really aligned with Cancer as far as where they're going, and a great flower to call in if you are, dealing with maybe a health issue or a health crisis, and you're needing a little bit of support with that, tapping back into your vitality.
I like that. And also that what you're saying, that the full moon actually sort of activates vitality in that house, which gives you health, which is great.
Yep. Very cool.
And Jupiter being in Taurus is going to be good for health, natural health.
All right.
All right. So Leos, let's find you guys. Where's my chart? Got too many windows open. Cut this one down. Okay, where is my... Okay. Sorry. Can't find it. Where'd you go? There it is. Okay. Okay. So Leo, you guys have this happening in your, well, let's see, you got Sagittarius in your 5th house, so relationship, friendships. So you're going to have an illumination of a relationship or a friendship or a creative project that looks like comes to, shall we say, fruition, goes forward. You're inspired. Boy, talk about a Sagittarius full moon in your 5th house. I mean, you are inspired for a creative new project, or a creative new project comes to you now that you've been wanting to do, you've been inspired about doing. Now the efforts, or you had the idea back in November 23rd, or you talked about it, and now it comes into fruition. You can do it. You're getting universal support. It's happening. It can also be a relationship coming into fruition. A friendship now becomes a romantic relationship that you then go into commission with, because sort of relationships that happen now with Jupiter in a Venus sign is for our squaring the nodes on the nodes, is the relationship that is here to support our destiny, our projects. So it's very likely a creative project where the relationship comes in. So you're going to have, Leo has Taurus in their 10th house. So Jupiter is going to be for a year in your career house. So you're really seeing some really positive things happening in your career, expansion in your career, upgrade, promotion, new clients, just a great sort of career boost for Leo. But then we've got, so maybe that's the creative project that occurs that then gives your career a boost. Leo are very talented, creative people. They all are. So they're going to fire up about they're going to take a more creative destiny and more creative path. Remember, this full moon is all about having faith, trusting. We're thriving. We're no longer surviving. We're going for our Jupiter. We're believing in the Jupiter. We're shooting for the Jupiter. It's that Sagittarius. We're going for the goal, the big dream. And there's a creative hope, an inspired energy to do it, a revitalization. And the Sagittarius fire is not the fieriest of the fires. And Leo is the medium fire. The fieriest of the fires is Aries, but the Sagittarius is the most calm of the fire energy. It's it's the last of the fire, as it's more, shall we say, just embers and things. And so, but it's more long term, it's more long lasting, and it's definitely moving. So we're looking for Leos, a very long, steady, inspired, new career focus and relationships that are supportive. Tribe people coming in that are, and I forgot to talk about Cancer with the 11th house. They've got new tribe coming in that are involving their work too. But so for Leo, you've got new and creative projects. Now, it could also be like in November, you met somebody and then that person becomes a relationship full on, or you met somebody and now you go into a project with them. So there's a connection, but always this is going to be involving a leap of faith, which I think you mentioned earlier. That's what the whole Jupiter energy is about, is having the faith. But when I say leap of faith, it is going to be assisted. You are going to feel supported by the universe. There are open doors here. It isn't just, we're being guided this way. We can see it. That's the point of all of this, that we're not all lost errant knaves, as Shakespeare says. Errant knaves, lost are we all. But
oh, look at you being all
intellectual. Yeah, I know. I love
yeah.
Shakespeare. I love to read Shakespeare. I have a big Shakespeare book right here, right there. You see?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a fun game where I just open it up and read a couple paragraphs, and I just get a lot.
I do that with a Rumi book that I actually have here on my desk.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, here, I'll show you my Rumi. Hold on. Yeah, it's my Rumi.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I open it up to certain pages and just read and see what's inspiring. And
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
So so Leo is taking excited, inspiring, fired. This is a firing up energy for Leo of creative passion, new beginnings, fruition, coming to fruition. Taurus is in your 10th house of career. You're letting go potentially of a living situation because you've got that South Node in your 4th house. So what card do you find for this?
Okay. Which when I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so Leo. All that yellow, gold, and orange, fiery. This is a nasturtium. And this card activates spontaneity, and the message is spice up your life. Now, what I feel like this card really represents is it also activates being at the right place at the right time. And that to me speaks directly to that 10th house you were talking about for Leos. When it comes to this, during this lunation, something may show up for Leos that relates to a creative project, which then helps launch their career or gives them a boost in some way for, it could be somebody that they meet in a social situation or on the internet that then also really helps them launch. So there's a connection with all those pieces for Leos, and I can speak to that for myself also. With a fellow Leo friend of mine, she and I are talking about working on some things together, some creative projects and endeavors. Nice.
Wow.
And I love that she and I are both Leos, because it's like we just got that double dose of energy to really launch it forward, which is awesome.
Remember, we said the 5th house is friends?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Also, Leos are great teachers. The 5th house is children, and Sagittarius is also teaching. So a lot of Leos might start teaching children or become teachers too, just to create that.
Oh, that's interesting too. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a nice spin.
Yeah, 5th house. So that's cool. Cool.
It is. Yeah. Super
All
fun.
right. Virgo, you pure feminines or pure masculines. I know many Virgo men right now. I seem to be reading from Virgo risings, but men. But this Sagittarius hits your 4th house, so full moon illuminating your family, living situation, emotional opportunity, potential of investment, financial property investment could show up, or you could suddenly discover your property is worth quite a bit of money. And then we've got the Gemini in your 10th house of career. you may decide to start 10th house of career with Gemini there, the moon, again, you know, the sun there illuminating sort of a shifting of your career, illuminating what you want in a career. And it's potentially you start working from home, or you sell a property so you don't have to work, or you get an upgrade in your career so you can travel, you sell your house to travel, you change your house to an Airbnb. But we're looking at expansion of your fourth house. So expansion of property and real estate, investing opportunities coming there, expansion. You're going to have Jupiter in your ninth house. So that's a travel thing for the next year, and also learning or becoming accredited at something, or taking on a university course, traveling, going abroad to take on a university course, which then makes you leave home with the, you know, shifting a situation around your home. What else can we say? Ninth house, you're learning, maybe you decide to stay home and learn and expand your home and make more money from your home because you add a room or you add to it. I actually do know a Virgo rising who's thinking about adding an addition to his house so he can rent that out. Absolutely. So all of that, of course, and then ideas and you know, Mercury is conjoining Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So it's like financial ideas that illuminate, liberate you, a career idea that can financially liberate you, a sudden idea that liberates you financially. Maybe adding that addition, you sell it and it liberates you financially. You don't have to work. What'd you get?
The bird's foot lotus. And what I like to draw people's attention to with this card here is the yellow. I mean, there's a lot of yellow here. So we're talking about the solar plexus. So your sense of self and your power. One aspect of this that really jumped out at me when you were talking about the fourth house was the ancestral component of the fourth house.
Oh yeah.
And how there might be things coming up that relates to power for Virgos. This activates contentment. The message is take charge. And there is an energy around this where there might be old fear or worry from your ancestors, from your lineage, that's going to be highlighted for you to complete, to transform that worry and that fear that may run through your lineage, and be able to find a sense of peace, a place of peace, and be able to take charge in a whole new way to activate all of the things that you were talking about, Madelaine,
right,
for them to, you know, move forward in their life in a whole new way. So this also magnifies happiness, a relaxed belly. So you're talking about the solar plexus, you know, how we tense up when we're feeling sense of anxiety or nervousness. It's like, relax.
The fourth house is the belly. It's Cancer.
There you go. Yeah. So a beautiful card for Virgos. So tune into this energy if you're feeling a little activated.
That does remind me, because of the fourth house is also very emotional, and this is a moon energy. So the moon is there. There might be an emotional thing happening in your family. You might have to let go of a living situation. There's a lot of emotions around it.
Yeah.
Or you're really excited emotionally and very fulfilled with a new living situation that's very emotionally fulfilling. That's right for you.
That feels good too. Okay. Libra.
Sagittarius is your third house. So I would say third house lunations are mostly kind of like emotional issues around siblings, people that live around you on a day-to-day. That's a Sagittarius. So you might suddenly feel really motivated to sort of go camping or do things in your immediate area that gets you outdoors. I always forget that about Sagittarius energy. We are looking at outdoors energy as well, and adventurous and out. So you may want to do an adventure in your local area, like, and then you're going to have third and ninth. So you're going to have the sun and Gemini in your ninth house. So you might have some ideas. Also, this is a travel. You may also start planning to travel or or because Gemini is very much the energy of, and Libra is very much the energy of, they're very, shall we say, strategize. So they may start planning, may want to start planning more travel in their experience of living, not being so stuck in their area, their local area. They want to expand beyond their local area and the local people that are around them, and to maybe seek out more travels and more distant prairies and distant areas to explore, because they've got the sun there in their ninth house. So they may have ideas. It's ruled by Mercury on Uranus in the 10th house. They may suddenly come up with liberating ideas of making money through traveling. The third house is also writing, right? Starting a business. They may decide to start a business or start a writing project and travel to write. That would be fun. A creative third house, another third house things would be writing, small businesses, entrepreneurial projects, any kind of, you might decide to start a website, start writing a blog, or and then maybe you can travel and do that, or maybe you learn something because the sun is in your ninth house, so you become aware of something you need to learn how to do, so that you can start a project in the third, start a business. You could decide to learn astrology, and then you're going to start your own practice in the third house. Okay, I think, what'd you get? Flower.
The trumpet vine.
Nice.
And this one is so crystal clear. Like I don't
Oh
even
my
need to give an explanation. Activates effortless speech. The message is free your voice.
How
So
did I not think of that? The third house is communication and
yes,
talking.
exactly. Yes, it's all about it. So it's, have you been struggling to speak with ease? Have you been struggling to tune into what it is that you want to say, and then actually be able to say it?
Wow.
Libras also, they always want harmony and balance. They don't want to
Mhm.
rock the boat. They don't want to upset people.
So
But
they
now
don't
it's
say
time.
stuff.
Yeah, now it's time for you to speak up. Say the things that are on your mind.
Wow, I'm so
Yeah.
glad you pulled that card, because that really pulled a whole aspect to this transit that I kind of missed, which is most likely Libras bursting out and communicating. They may get in arguments with siblings or people they know around, you're right, but suddenly sort of an adjustment about their communication, their thinking, because that Uranus and Mercury are together. We've got that Jupiter squaring Pluto, so truths coming out suddenly, all out of the blue, like communication.
Yes.
Like pent up communication potentially from the new moon in November. But you're right, Libras, I always forget that Libras have a hard time speaking a truth, and sometimes it buries it and they're not even aware of it, and when we get it, go boom.
Yes. Yeah. So good to be aware.
Yep. Glad you picked that card, because that is very, very on point.
All right, Scorpio.
So you guys have Taurus in your 7th house of relationships. So we are looking at reshaping, restructuring of relationships for the good of you and all, and most likely getting into long-term relationships. But also we've got this Sagittarius is in your 2nd house. So fantastic. An illumination of a way to make money, a new way to make money opens up. A full moon in your 2nd house. That happens to me. And in fact, I have a Scorpio friend who is now going to work at a retreat with me because I recommended her. And so now she's working a retreat. So she's just starting to do these retreats. So that's interesting. It's in their 2nd house. It's expansion. Also, don't forget that Jupiter is kind of spiritual, and Sagittarius is sort of a higher philosophy, higher consciousness. So it's expansion consciousness. So you're making money in a way that's spiritual, that's more expansion and consciousness, that's Jupiterian, that's your calling. And that is true, because she is an excellent sound bowl person. So she's going to be doing, and which is her calling. So then we've got Taurus, we said, in your 7th house of relationships. So she does, potentially start a new contracted relationship involving your career, in a new way of making money. Could involve contracts with other relationships, or a new partnership involving, and again, you could get into a relationship as well. And that's going to play out throughout the year. So maybe it happens within the year. And then you're going to have Gemini in your 9th. So potential travel ideas, but also teaching or higher philosophy, or learning to go to school. But the sun there, remember, giving you faith in yourself, because this opportunity opened up for the Scorpio I know that now gives her faith in herself. This illumination gives us faith in ourselves and what we're here to do that it is good for people, that it is where we're supposed to, it does expand our life. We're usually a little bit insecure about these Jupiterian missions and causes because they are leaps of faith. They don't look secure, but they are if you have faith. So, all right, a card for Scorpio.
All right. So it's interesting. 3 cards actually flew out, and then I landed on one, and I think one was actually specifically directed towards me and something that I'm going through since Scorpio is my ascendant. But this was the one for the collective. And this is the Mountain Laurel. And what I love about this card, before I even go into the energy of it, is all the purple, which is reminding Scorpios to really open up their crown, open up their third eye, allow that information that's ready to come through. It's not quite like the 9th house with this higher wisdom and knowledge, but the 8th house is also like opening us up to different avenues. And so being aware of that, particularly within our relationship with money and our relationships with others, there could be some new information. This activates total comfort, and the message is let it all hang out. So is there some area of your life where you're holding on to something too tightly? I know you mentioned that earlier, Madelaine. Scorpios too, it's like at
the South Node on them.
Yes, there's a lot of, and that's like the South Node is what you're comfortable with, the things you're used to, like it's the familiar territory versus the North Node, which is something new that you're stepping into. So this just reminds Scorpios it magnifies your confidence, it magnifies playing big, and it magnifies mental freedom. So get out of your head. Don't worry, that Gemini energy, all that thinking, just allow it to calm, allow it to settle, and trust what is coming through your crown, your third eye.
Well, that's Jupiter's color, purple.
All right. Need we say more?
I just had to say that, yeah. Sagittarius. This is
yes.
your first house lunation. So full moon in your first house. Something about you expands. You become more of a version of yourself. It's an expansion energy. It's kind of like you discover more confidence in yourself. You feel like you're going to be more in the limelight, more seen, more out there. Jupiter is your ruling planet in the sign of Taurus, is going to be increasing your finances very strongly, very stabilizing time for Sagittarians, great time for Sagittarians. Again, your destiny is being tilted by the nodes and Pluto and Mars squaring all of that. So just go with the flow, Saggies, and try not to try too hard. Sagittarius are the worst at that. They can really block stuff by thinking they need to activate the fire. You don't. The fire will act, just be inspired and watch what happens. Just feel the inspiration, and you and your fire power will cause it to happen without you trying. So Sagittarians, watch out with this full moon. Don't overdo anything. Don't go crazy. It's very spontaneous energy. So just the reason these Jupiter energies are so powerful is because it really initiates, it gives that fire boost to initiate and go for something and have faith and fired up about it. It's that bolstering energy. So that's a big window of energy shooting through to Sagittarians. So just watch out. Don't let it just like rev your car up really fast and like go, whoa. It's like, lighten up on that accelerator pedal. Just go light on that. When you go from the clutch, when I was learning how to drive, I got in a car accident with my dad because I was doing the clutch and I let it out really fast and we went wham, and we went right into a rice paddy field in Nepal. This is where I was learning to drive on dirt roads in Kathmandu in between rice paddy fields.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Was the car stuck?
No, we went absolutely upside down in the ditch. Yep. And what was so hysterical was that we had to the army had to come with a crane to come and get it out, and they bust the crane. It was just a complete disaster. And then everybody just got fed up with the crane, and about 15 men jumped in the ditch all together and literally lifted the car out with their hands. I couldn't believe it because the crane didn't work. They couldn't get the crane working. So everyone just said, fuck it. Let's just do it. They just jumped in the ditch, and about, I don't know, maybe it was more men than that, but all these guys got around the car and they all went, they lifted it out of the ditch.
Wow. Was the car still drivable?
The car was fine. We just got in and we drove it. The car, it didn't even dent the car. It was the craziest experience of my life. I'm literally, after that clutch went, I was turning and I went, let the clutch out. I went shooting into the ditch. I'm like in my dad's lap. And I'm like looking at him going, and my dad just goes, shit.
That's a great story. Was he mad at you?
He wasn't mad at me. He was mad at himself for he was just pacing going, oh my God, because there could have been kids playing in that ditch. I mean, it just freaked him out that we could have like hurt somebody or something, but we didn't. It all worked out okay. It was quite crazy actually at how uncomplicated the solution really was. And that reminds me that this full moon in Sagittarius is solutions to situations that seem to have been no solution for 6 months or so.
Wow.
So anyway, you know,
that's a great story. That's an awesome story. I love that. I love that.
So that was my first driving experience. So anyway, okay, so that was Sagittarius full moon. So watch out, Saggies. Do not do what I did on that car thing. Like let the accelerator, let the gas, let the clutch out slow.
Yeah, I've had experiences like that. I didn't flip a car or hit another car, but learning how to drive manual, it's just, if you're not ready, you really can just go,
yep,
take off.
Yeah. Yeah. I only learned manually because in Nepal, they only had that. They didn't have automatic cars anywhere else in the world but America until really the 80s. You didn't see automatic cars in the rest of the world. So
yeah, and now it's hard
an
to
American
find.
thing. Yeah, you can't.
Now it's hard to find one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you completed that. I got so distracted by the car story.
I know. I think I know, me too. Is there anything else? Well, let's look at your Taurus house. Your Taurus house in Sagittarius is your Taurus house. Let me see that. That's your 6th house. So for the next 6 years, you're going to be dealing with solutions to health issues, day-to-day habits, bad habits that have not been good for you. You're going to start making your beds more often, maybe more discipline, take on a spiritual practice and also a new work that is abundant. This is all good. It's like abundant. You're building abundance. You're building better health. You're building a better routine for your money, your income. Nice to have that there.
All right. So I would like to share the bird of paradise with the Sagittarians out there. And I find this so interesting because it relates to something you didn't talk about a ton, but because the sun is in Gemini, this really does have a lot to do with it. The Gemini mind, that constantly going mind, this activates connection, but the message is quiet your mind. Quiet your mind. Nice. And this even to me kind of reminds me of that energy that you were talking about with the car, that kind of like Sagittarius, that forceful push of energy. This reminds you to move from your head to your heart and to be more in a meditative state. So it's more like that slow flow meditative state. And then feeling a deep connection with others. So where could you maybe connect with someone that you care about? Where can you connect with yourself through others? You know, because we often are people in our lives are our mirrors. So what are they reflecting about you for you to take a look at? Because this is in your 1st house. What do you need to see about yourself, maybe through the connection with other people, or maybe connecting with yourself in a whole new way? Doing something just for you.
Yeah.
Your head.
Don't forget the sun is in your 7th house. So there's a good chance we're illuminating relationships that are for our true destiny as well. That's going to be a part of the picture. But I do like that because don't forget, we got Uranus and Mercury conjoining in your 6th house. And I'm already feeling the nervous energy. Look at me. I'm feeling very hyped up. It's very Sagittarians get very, very, very hyped up in this energy. So that calming energy is not a bad advice to be giving Sagittarians right now. I'm almost
Yeah.
feeling you
Well,
might
that's
get
so funny.
very, very itchy footed and just like literally just start traveling. Like that might happen to me. Could
You
happen.
might, so yeah, folks, everyone, don't be surprised if you see Madelaine here in Florida and we're side by
Yeah.
side
Yes.
doing a live.
Oh, I would love to explore Florida. There's so
Yeah.
much to see there. It's so interesting place.
Come on over.
Might happen. It might happen. Spontaneity. That is a Sagittarius energy. So you never know, everybody.
You'll have to keep tuning in to
Yes.
catch us in person together.
Yes, because I want to go to Italy really badly. I grew up in Italy, so I'm missing it so bad, but I could definitely break the journey up. In fact, you can't fly out of here. I have to fly somewhere first in America. So it would be fun. I'll make it.
Yeah.
Is it Miami that
Yeah.
you live in? Okay, cool.
Yeah, not too far from there. Yeah. So, I mean, you could easily fly into, there are 3 airports close to me, and you could fly out of Fort Lauderdale or Miami to Europe.
Okay.
There's tons of flights. So,
Cool. Yoo-hoo.
yeah,
That'd be
possible.
All
We'll
right.
discuss.
We will continue this conversation. Yes. So did we pull a card for Saggies?
Yeah, the bird of paradise.
Oh, we did. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Woohoo, Sagittarius. You go, guys. Saggies are going to fly in this one. Okay.
Let's go. Capricorn now.
Capricorn, you have Taurus in your 5th house. Awesome. I'm really glad about that because I know some Capricorns who are going to really enjoy that, to have Taurus in the 5th. That's great. Creative projects opening up, or potential relationships. But this full moon is happening in your 12th, which is a challenging full moon. I remember this lunation before, and the Capricorn, I knew they came up with a real crisis at that point in their life. So Capricorns, but this is a solution and the end of that crisis, which is great because I know somebody who's going through a really awful experience with financial problems. And I think this is now the end of that for you, Capricorn. You're resolving it. You've got Scorpio in your, you've got Sagittarius in your 12th house. So you're resolving some sort of karmic resolve around emotional money. I mean, I have a lot of planets in Capricorn, so I can sort of understand this energy where you're really resolving that trauma around finance, karmic fears, having no faith in because Sagittarius being in the 12th house is like you're really learning to have true faith you're learning to have faith and not be so Capricornian, because Capricorns are very security-based, control-based. So now this lunation is going to open you up and relieve your soul and release the money tensions and fears. And you're sort of going to relax and sort of start to have more faith and let go of some of this control, because your karma, you've had Pluto on your Capricorn house. And you're really learning to trust your soul. So I think now this is the rewards of the new moon in November of a financial liberating. Remember, we have that some kind of a creative, this is great news. Oh my gosh, because I know a Capricorn who started a creative project back then, and now it's going to financially liberate you. So it's like some kind of a creative project that comes through, and a relationship comes in and gives you financial liberation, because Sagittarius is your 12th house. So I just want to look at where Gemini falls in your 3rd house. So I'm sorry, no, Gemini. It's 6. Yes, yes. So like a work situation opens up, financial abundance through a work situation involving creative endeavors. I think you're financially finally out of the woods in a very scary, traumatic experience that Capricorn have been going through, like real earth rattling, because they're being woken up to the fact that they don't hold ego control over their life. God does. And that's what Sagittarius, or God, or whatever you call God, your higher self, or the universe, the flow of the magic of the power of the unseen forces are at play here, that we have to relinquish faith to. Capricorns can't run the whole show, make it all be exactly as they want. They had to let go, trust and faith. They're going to see that what they had to let go and they've been scared but jeebers out of, they've let go, and now they're going to see it was okay. Their faith is going to kick in.
So here's the question, because from what I know of some Capricorns is some have been doing the work all along, seeing what's happening, learning the lessons, letting go. And then I know some Capricorns who haven't been doing the work, who've been clutching on and who have not let go.
What's happening for them?
Pardon?
Are they having a hard time?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's, I feel like some Taurus energy is coming in to make them very stubborn. Like they are arguing for their limits.
Mm.
So I'm curious about this particular lunation for them.
Well,
Is it going to be one, like if you've done the work, I feel like you're already beginning to see the fruits of your efforts. If you haven't, I feel like there's going to be some maybe discomfort this go around, because you're going to be pushed to let go of something that you're really holding tightly to, that really is not serving you, and that may likely push you towards your soul and understanding what your soul really came here to experience.
yeah,
Thoughts?
I think, well, I would say if you haven't done the work, that full moon's going to show it up as a crisis, and it'll pivot you because of the node squaring Jupiter. So
Yeah.
it'll just show up more of a crisis situation potentially that you then do really see, because that Sagittarius in your 12th house is going to illuminate the issues, the soul karma, the soul resolve, the emotional things are here to really resolve. And so it's just going to help along the edge. It's going to keep tapping, and these lunations come along in these sections, and then just keep nudging you along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Willing or not willing.
So true. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure there's not, I'm speaking we're speaking to all Capricorns here, those who have been along for the journey and those who are coming in later. They were going like,
well, this is
what the heck?
What will happen to them too, the ones that haven't done the work, is you're going to wake up to having more faith to let go of your control. So once that happens, this might just give you a little bit more faith. This lunation is going to show you that we manifest abundance in ways we didn't know, there is a divine at play, because Capricorns forget that they're not God. And I don't mean that in a big ego, like I'm everyone's God. They think they're the God in their own lives, and that anything good that happens in their life is because they did it, and they did all the work, and they are hard workers, and they did do it. But they forget that there's a big component in it, which is 50%. The universe was providing through that. And there was a part in this of the universe. And so your abundance was a co-joint effort. So then they wake up and they go, wow, I got completely slammed with that Pluto on me. I lost all my heart. I lost all my controlling energies. How I make everything happen didn't work. I know all the Capricorns that happen. I always do this. I always made work that way. I always made a lot of money. Why is it not working? Because the universe has shifted now that we're not going to create as much abundance by operating in the security-based energies. So now the Sagittarius are like, you mean, then they got ego smashed, and they're just in disasterville because everything they did wasn't fruiting or causing the fruit that they're used to making it happen. And then they suddenly see, oh, you mean the divine was working this way? I didn't see it, and it is delivering the fruit. It wasn't just my work. There is a God in the picture, or a universe. I am co-creating here. So that's what's going to happen to Capricorn. They were here to suddenly learn that you co-create with the divine, or with the universal force, and that you got to mix your strong work ethic with the will of the divine, your calling. So Capricorns are going to redirect to it. They're going to go, wow, you mean I can create abundance without working my butt off? The universe actually hands me things that I didn't try to make happen. Like there's a force at play here that I'm just a part of. So I think that's nice for Capricorn. I like it.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And are you ready? I can share the card.
Sure.
Okay. So we have the pomegranate flower for Capricorns. This reminds me a bit of the Leo flower, which I think is kind of fun because my guy is Capricorn and I am Leo. And it seems like they sort of go together in a way when it comes to the energetics. Both of us have a sun in those places. This activates strength, and the message is detox and re-energize. So this is also 6th house for folks that are paying attention to the houses, and that is your health and your wellness and your body, and as well as day-to-day things like that. But when it comes to some of the Capricorns I know, they've had some health challenges. They've had a few things that have shown up for them, and they're working through it. They're making progress. And this is reminding you, like, okay, maybe you've done some things. So like, let's re-energize. Let's maybe remove some things from your diet that are not supporting you, that are not nourishing you, that are not moving you forward. This magnifies, again, we've got that vitality through cleansing the body and your energy. That's so important. Cleanse your energy too, not just your physicality. It magnifies your self-expression, creativity, also reproductive system balance. So endocrine system, things like that, that will really be helpful with stress and anxiety and things that might come up. So I really like this card for Capricorns. And, again, remember, you can call in the pomegranate flower, the spirit of the plant. You can take a screenshot of the flower. You can get an elixir, all sorts of different ways that you can utilize this flower energy. Was there something you wanted to share too, Madelaine?
I forgot to mention that Gemini, the sun is in their 6th house. So that really resonates with that card and their health thing with the card there, because you were talking about their health and Gemini being there and Mercury ruling your 6th house, and that having Uranus and Mercury conjoining is a nervous, stressful energy for sure, activating nervous energies in your 6th house. So Capricorn do need to learn a spiritual day-to-day practice. This might be a time where they do learn. Maybe that's one of the things they learn with Sagittarius in their 12th house, is that they need a day-to-day mental stress, self-soothing practice.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's helpful for all of us.
Yes, for sure.
It would be great for all of us. Okay, Aquarius. Speaking of mental soothing, let's see about them.
All right, Aquarians, you guys have a Sagittarius in your 11th house. So Jupiter is ruling this, which is interesting because Aquarius is an 11th house energy. Your ruling planet is in the sign of Taurus. Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is your 3rd house. Oh, your 4th. So interesting. A lot of good stuff happening in property, real estate, new abundance, new projects, that'll take place a year, maybe new buildings, new financial abundance developing and progressing and stabilizing through your 4th house of property, real estate, home, living situations. And then we have your Sagittarius in your 11th house. So you're going to have an illumination there. You're going to meet new people or friends you've met. Maybe you met some people back in November 23rd now. They become your full-on tribe, and you start joining in projects with them, or you discover your new tribe. You know who they are. Then in Gemini, you may move forth, and then you meet new people, a bunch of new people, because the 11th house. And 3rd house, sun. So what's in the 3rd house? The 4th house, Taurus is in your 3rd. No, wait, Gemini is in your 5th house. Oh, wow. So then we're looking potentially at creative writing projects, new friends, new people coming in for creative projects, aligning with a Jupiterian mission, writing creative projects, inspired by new people. This also, the moon there, you could win something, you gain clarity about your calling, you have a long-term goal. Suddenly you can see yourself achieving a long-term goal. 4th house, sun, because we got that Mercury there and Uranus in your 4th house, sudden liberation around a property, it liberates you financially so you can move. Go ahead. Sounds like you feel like you have a card.
I do. The date palm flower. All right. This relates more to Aquarians in general. I think it's just a reminder for them. Activates freedom from extremes. The message is shift the paradigm. Magnifies being imbalance between your linear and non-linear thinking. So when you think about Aquarians, they have this like open-mindedness to them, but they don't necessarily want to be. They want to fit in, but yet they don't want to fit in. It's like, at least at a certain stage of life, the Aquarians and I know, they wanted to be unique, but yet they also wanted to fit in. So this is helping you find that place where it's like, you are you, period. You're okay with it. You don't have to be, and you also don't want to be like the super oddball person that can't connect with people either. So this magnifies moment-to-moment awareness, free of worry and activates the sense of like daydreaming, but daydreaming in a way, what I'm seeing is more of this daydreaming and inspired action, daydreaming to create, daydreaming to line up with what you truly want and desire for your life. So the date palm flower, you know, the question is there a part of your life that is out of balance? You know, where can you bring that back into balance? And again, when you think about Sagittarius, you are lining up with that target. You're making sure that you're right there, because when you release that arrow, you want it to hit where it's going. And so for Aquarians, find that balance place before you release the arrow.
That's nice. And that's a really, really nice full moon for Aquarius, because the 11th house is a really lucky house. It's extremely benefic house. And to have your Jupiter lunation there with Jupiter in your 4th house, I would say something very, very lucky happens around property, real estate, finances, winning, recognition, awards. I mean, it's a really nice lunation for Aquarians, possibly the best one.
Yay. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Pisces to round it out.
Taurus is your 3rd house here. So all year, you're going to be very busy, maybe doing a website, short distance traveling, a lot of commuting. And then you're going to have Gemini is in your 4th. Again, the sun illuminating a new place to live, or new, I know is Pisces rising, who's moving and who is very busy. And then we've got Sagittarius in your 10th house, which is career, which is awesome. So this is a full moon in your career house, Pisces. This is like a big job coming through, a fruition, something you reach for. The Pisces I'm thinking about might have had a disappointing situation. I'm not sure, it might have been around. They might have instigated something that didn't look like it was happening right away around that November 23rd. And by the way, Sagittarians have no patience. So this is a full moon around something we've been having to be very patient around. And so your Pisces are now getting the rewards of something they've been really waiting for. And it's coming through. It's a career thing. And plus, you know, they've got Saturn in their 1st house. So they're definitely career centric right now. Career is just moving like gangbusters this is a time where they're working hard, and it feels good because they're accelerating career. All their focus is career. And so these opportunities, some sort of big opportunity coming for them in a career, it's happening in their 10th house. So it's kind of like a dream come true career opportunity coming in that's excited. They're very excited. I got to tell my Pisces sun to calm down. He's Sagittarius sun, Pisces rising. Oh my God, they get too excited. So try not to get too excited. But Sagittarius in your full moon in your 10th house is great. It's a career, it's an upgrade in your career, a raise in a new client, a new opportunity comes in that you've been struggling for, that you've been waiting for, that you've been hoping for. You're now grown up enough for. That's the thing about lunations in the 10th house. You're ready now. You've done some maturing for this. You weren't ready back then. You know, the impatience, Sagittarians have no patience. I'll tell you, understanding patience is the biggest spiritual gift you can give yourself, because your success and all that is good is on the other side of that impatience. And I used to hate pulling the Temperance card. I'm Sagittarius, so it's my least favorite card. Now I know. And in fact, I ripped it out of a deck once. I was doing a workshop and somebody was like reaching for that deck. And I said, that deck's not full. They said, so they went to get another deck. And they said, what card was missing? And I said, the Temperance card. I ripped it up. And then they got another deck. She goes, I bet that's the card I need. And she pulled another deck and out comes the Temperance card. Boom.
Of
right?
course.
Of course. So basically, and when you understand that Temperance card, now I love the Temperance card when I see it. I get it. We're supposed to just Sagittarians cannot wait for anything. And it's like, the more you wait, the better it gets, because what you're waiting for is getting stronger and more grounded and more developed and there's time involved. We're aligning with it. And in the meantime, you know, Sagittarians are supposed to just enjoy living and not be in the waiting energy. A lot of times I'm giving readings for people and they have very optimistic things coming, but then they're waiting for it. And the waiting implies that the moment is not full and complete. And that's a blocking energy. So Sagittarians have been waiting for this, but hopefully given up. because then once you stop that waiting, it can happen because you're not in the energy of something lacking. Until when this comes, I will be happy, I will feel full. But that is an illusion. You know, life is complete and full as is right now. But these lunations bring things that we are for our fate. So we just had to be patient, which means we're okay in the meantime, completely full.
Completely. And the pink magnolia speaks to this. So interesting. It activates self-care. The message is take exquisite care of yourself. It magnifies the feeling of being complete, whole, and worthy, which is literally what you just said, Madelaine.
That's so funny.
Yes.
Great one to end the whole read with, but yeah.
Totally. And I also want to share that it magnifies retaining energy for your own needs and purposes, and the protection from burnout or resentment. And so I know with some Pisces in my life that they can go to a place of burnout and then be resentful that they feel like that, you know, towards other people because it's their fault somehow. So just remember, like, just take care of yourself. And this is a slow down, like what you were saying, like, be patient, slow down.
Especially Pisces, because they're ruled by Jupiter too. So it's like, take it easy.
Yeah.
But, oh, I just thought of something you just said that ignited it. So it's faith. They're going to have a lot more faith, because you're saying like Pisces can tend to be a very doomsday people. They think, you know I deal with it with my son. So it's like, I think now they're going to go, oh, wow, I guess I was wrong about all that doomsday. I guess it's work out, you know.
And that's, I think, the thing where, okay, so this feels so important to say for everyone listening, but particularly those that have Pisces in their chart. But I think for anyone, it's that sense of keep your eye, keep your energy, keep your thoughts, keep everything flowing towards that you desire versus that which you don't. We spend so much time looking at, you know, the things we don't have versus recognizing the things we do have. And like you were saying, Madelaine, we have everything we could need. We really do. It's all the other stuff. They are great. I'm not disputing that. I mean, I'm all about having the finer things and having the little extras and the fun, but we also have to remember to keep an eye on the prize versus I don't have it,
that's Sagittarius,
or whatever yet. Yeah,
because the Sagittarius has got a long-term goal and is shooting for the long-term goal. And that's the other thing to say about this full moon is it's almost like a culmination or the arrival of a long-term goal that we've been reaching for. So yeah.
All right. I mean, big energy, lots of energy. Everybody just hang in there. You're going to see culminations of things. You're going to, if you don't, you're going to be, whatever it is that you need to see is going to be highlighted. Look for it, pay attention to it. Don't ignore it.
Open to the adventure that is bringing, because it's bringing an adventure, a new journey, a fun adventure that's the energy of Sagittarius. It's wandering, it's learning, it's seeking, we're discovering something new. We're going on a journey where it's exciting. So
it is, it's some good stuff. And as always, if you need any support from Madelaine or myself, we have the information below where you can reach out to us, let us know. Just some really fun energy if you choose to look at it like that.
Yeah.
That's coming up. It's, you know, adventures tend to be fun. You know, there can be some pitfalls, there can be some things that happen unexpected. Uranus is hanging around, but it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Positive, the energy of the Jupiter is to be really in faith and positivity, and that really does sort of rocket you through anything.
Yeah, so, it does. It really does. So thank you all for being here.
AMALIA.
We so appreciate you, and we will see you here in 2 weeks for the new moon in Gemini, which will have some interesting energy for that as well, I am sure. In the meantime, you know where to find us, and we'll see you here in 2 weeks.
Namaste, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.